Hey cats and kittens, how you doing? How you been? What you up to? Happy Saturday. I know that sometimes we have people in our lives, right? That we don't exactly understand why. Or even we think we do. Everybody has a purpose and we're doing all of the things, right? And sometimes it gets to a point where that person or even a situation becomes almost too much. Hmm. It becomes heavy. And I want you to think about it. Before we start calling people names and they're this, they're that, and I should have, and they taking my, and ooh, ooh, you know how we get. We get defensive. We want to start blaming everybody else. I want you to think about something. Whether you're Christian or not, we all know the story of Jesus, right? And I want you to think, even Jesus had a Judas. Let that sink. Let that settle in for a second. Even Jesus had a Judas. Now, when you first hear that, you probably think, oh yeah, even Jesus had somebody that came in and stabbed him in the back and did. Ooh. Yes, but that's not what I'm talking about. In the story of Jesus, right? Jesus knew the plan. Jesus knew what was going on. He knew what he was walking into. He knew why. He knew his purpose. He knew what he was here to do. He knew who each of his homies was and why they were around him. So, do you think for a moment he didn't know exactly who Judas was and what would happen? He told the man what he was going to do. No, not me. That's I fucks with you, right? But Jesus knew that Judas had to play his role in the story for the plan to actually go the way it's supposed to go. He knew Judas was on some fuckery. He knew from the gate. But he also knew for himself he had to let it rock. He had to let it happen in order for the plan to go the way it's supposed to. So sometimes we're sitting here like, I don't understand why I can't, and these things are happening, or this person is doing, and it's quiet as it's kept, and as much as we don't want to admit it, everybody's got a role in the plan. Whether that role is to teach you something, whether that role is to force you into such an uncomfortable situation that you have to move to your next level, whether that role is to even take from you so that they can learn. Everybody has a role that they play. Otherwise, they would never come into your life. We act like this shit is all just coincidental. Depending on what you believe, you might think that you agreed to these people. We all decided before we got here, we sat around the table. We said, okay, you're going to be that guy. You're going to be the villain. You're going to be the mark. All of these things we decided before we got here. And we were cool with it. And then we got here and it feels like shit hit the fan and we don't know what the fuck is going on. Many, many times, even I'm sitting here like, what the fuck is going on? But by the same token, I got to sit back. And I'm like, all right, number one, I don't know what good drugs the universe was on when they put me together, or what good drugs I was on when I decided to accept this whole shenanigans that has turned out to be my life. But for whatever reason, the plan and the purpose that is for me is requiring all of these pieces. And even when I don't like that shit, I got to let it ride. Even when that shit hurts, I got to let it ride. Now, that does not mean allow myself to be a doormat. That does not mean just take whatever crumbs are given. But it is having the awareness to say, sometimes I got to let this shit play out so that what has to come will come. My mom used to always say, They talked about Jesus. So what makes you think they ain't going to talk about you? And he was perfect. What makes you think they ain't going to talk about you? So think about it. When you're looking at your life, realizing sometimes there's people in your midst or situations keep coming up against you, and you try, even Jesus, the quote unquote most perfect being that's ever walked the earth, the incarnate of the Holy Spirit himself, God made flesh for the people. And I'm paraphrasing because I ain't trying to get, y'all know what the fuck I'm talking about. Even Jesus had a Judas, because Judas had a role to play. So that's what I got for you today. If you like what I'm talking about, give me a like, a subscribe, a follow, hit the website, book a consultation. But just think on that. Just think on that. It's all for something.